like a small boat on the ocean.
It is Thursday. That means coming up an hour from now, the great Bill O'Reilly will be here. Had a nice conversation on the cell phone with Bill a couple days ago. Bill O'Reilly with Bernie and Sid coming up at 8:40 this morning. Now, we've got a listener, and the guy's name is Paul Hayton. It's about time we talked about this guy. This guy is a huge fan of the Bernie and Sid show. Never misses the show.
From down under.
That's right. He's in Australia, and he starts tweeting very, very early every morning. I don't think I've tweeted one thing that he hasn't retweeted all night. Anyway, he has made me and us aware of Tricia Flanagan. I don't know how from Australia he comes to Tricia Flanagan, but he does. And then, of course, we found out that Tricia is running against Cory Booker, and we can't stand Cory Booker. So we've got a million reasons now why we like Tricia Flanagan. We don't even care what she likes, what she doesn't like. It doesn't matter. She's running against Cory Booker, and for us, that's enough. But with that said, we'll give her a chance to speak to the folks out there, tell everybody why she, in fact, is the right choice for Senate in the state of New Jersey coming up in 2020. Everybody say good morning to Tricia Flanagan. Good morning.
Hey, Trish.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. Thanks so much for having me on, and I'm thrilled to hear that I have kind of universal appeal. I'll give a shout-out to Australia then. Good day, mate.
Good guy.
You do. They love you in Jersey and down under. Well, listen, there's a big election coming up. I do know that you ran. I saw you with Larry Menti many months ago. You ran against Bob Eugen, who became very friendly with Bernie and I. Bob Eugen and Menendez a couple of months ago. Did you learn anything from that election that you think may aid you in this race against Cory Booker?
Oh, absolutely. And, let me be clear. I mean, I'm a true conservative, and, I thought long and hard about going in as an independent Republican in that race. I've been a lifelong Republican and support the national GOP platform, and I felt that voice needed to be heard. I knew it wouldn't tip the balance of the equation in the Senate, but I had to anchor our conservative voice. And now,
but you do realize that, I know Larry made this point, because you ran as an independent, you may have very well taken votes away from Bob Eugen.
Well, and let me share that the analytics show that that's not true. What I did, Eugen supporters were anchored and ready to vote for him. What I did was I brought in a new pool of voters. When you look at even the Gallup poll, Gallup shows that New Jersey is actually conservative. Conservatives outnumber liberals in New Jersey. And what we need to do is reach into that unaffiliated sector. It's the largest sector of voters in New Jersey, 2.4 million. When you add that to the 1.2 million registered Republicans, that's the win. We now outnumber Democrats. So what I did was I reached out to that new cohort of voters, brought them in, and now we're ready to be conservative united into 2020. That's how we're going to beat Booker.
And you have quite the resume, Tricia Flanagan, a healthcare expert, CEO, biochemist in oncology, mother of three, in addition to all of that. And this guy, Cory Booker, he's never worked, never had a legitimate job in his life. He's a career politician, and he's going to opine on changing 1/6 of the economy, Medicare for all. What do you say about that?
Well, you're exactly right. He has no real-world experience, no real-world perspective, and New Jersey is suffering. And, I've been told that at this U.S. Senate seat level, there's really nothing that we can do to affect New Jersey, and that is a flat-out lie. That's the seat that should work at the fulcrum of the 10th Amendment and the overarching Constitution. We have to have a representative that will help New Jersey at the federal level when we push from the top down, when we get rid of Murphy in 2021, and when we fill the state legislature with true conservatives. That's how we tip the balance. And you're right, Booker's got to go. He's wrong for New Jersey. He's certainly wrong for America, and he has nothing to stand on in the practical world.
No, he doesn't. Tricia Flanagan on with Bernie and Sid right now. There was another school shooting, as you know, Trish, in Colorado. Once again, for the second straight time, one of the students, actually, in an unbelievable show of courage, took a couple of bullets to ensure the rest of the kids would survive. And, of course, that always turns into a Second Amendment fight. We don't talk about the mental health of some of these kids, whether it was a kid in Colorado or Lanza in Connecticut or the Aurora shooter. It goes right to the Second Amendment. And I know that Cory Booker is one of those guys that's got a full-out assault on the Second Amendment, something, of course, that you don't.
Absolutely. And let me say that young man in Colorado died a hero and will be remembered as a hero. And you're right that Cory Booker, I call him a Second Amendment extremist. Why punish lawful gun owners for something that the mentally incapacitated have done? I think you're right that the answer really lies in understanding what triggers these people to commit these horrific crimes. I have an artificial intelligence background, meaning that I've worked with databases for the 25 years of my experience in business, and there is a way to tie all those databases together and identify the true culprits. The Second Amendment is something that protects our citizens. It doesn't. Cory Booker is wrong on many levels. This is one where the assault that you mentioned has to be attacked, because if you attack the Second Amendment, we are all in jeopardy. When we look at the statistics, gun violence is more rampant in the states where we have the tightest and strictest gun regulations. If you take the ability for citizens to arm themselves, look at other tragedies. It was a good guy or a good woman with a gun that actually saved lives, and we have to embrace our Second Amendment. It's part of the fabric of our country. It shall not be infringed, and I'll fight for New Jersey and for all America in that capacity.
Certainly a good guy with a gun was instrumental down in Poway, California at the synagogue. Well, let me ask you about this, Trish Flanagan, who's running against Cory Booker in 2020 for the Senate. He's going to run both for the Senate and the presidency because he knows he's not going to win the presidency. But my question is this. This guy actually went to Yale Law School, and yet during the Kavanaugh hearings, he was willing to suspend due process. I mean, the presumption of innocence, throw it out the window, according to Cory Booker, just to get this guy Kavanaugh.
Well, that's right, and it underscores how Cory Booker has really gone off the deep end. I mean, he's one of the extreme liberals that gets triggered emotionally and think that we all have to suffer for that. The way he went after Kavanaugh was abhorrent. And, we the people have to stand up, and we have to say no more. Enough is enough. We have to make the decision that we're going to vet our elected officials by a rule of sanity. And, when you look at exactly what you're talking about, the position that Cory Booker takes, he's running he's in the political theater. He's running for president and Senate at the same time, which we can thank Phil Murphy for. That should never have been, but it is what it is. I don't believe he's going to get the nomination for the presidency, but now it's our next step to make sure that we restore this to fiscal sanity, to political sanity, and we get rid of this extremism that we see every day in this political theater from Cory Booker.
Tricia Flanagan, who could become the first woman, by the way, ever, to win Senate New Jersey coming up in 2020. But you've talked about that. That's not what this is about. This is about your philosophies, not your gender. I know that you're a big supporter of President Donald Trump, which is good, especially on this show. And I would ask you this. You know that the Democrats are trying to hold Bill Barr in contempt after what happened with the Mueller report a couple of weeks ago. How ridiculous do you think that is?
Well, when we were just talking about political theater, right, and that's the theater in its worst form. It was crystal clear from the hearing yesterday that those Democrats do not want to have an application of justice. What they want is they want fodder for their ridiculous agenda moving forward. Their one and only goal is to impeach President Trump. Mitch McConnell said it best. Case is closed. The game is over. We are done with this. How much more do we have to invest as a country and as a society in what has already been deemed irrelevant? It's a witch hunt. It's another underscore of why we have to put the right people in the right place at a time such as this. Unless we want this crazy theatrics in the Senate, what's being done for the people? What's being done for policy? We elected these officials to do that. They're more interested in their own political agenda and ego, and they're sacrificing the American people in the process.
Well, the last question, Trish Flanagan, running against Cory Booker for the Senate. He gets all these adoring profiles in the media, of course, for what he did in Newark. But from my understanding, Newark is still a mess. He was the mayor of Newark, of course, for a long time. And it's not any better than it was 15 years ago.
Oh, that's right. I call him the looter of Newark. I mean, you just have to look in his own backyard to see how bad he is for not just the state, but all America. I mean, when you look at political agenda does not meet the practical needs of the state. It goes back full circle to his lack of experience. He's got these pie-in-the-sky ideas, everything from supporting the Green New Deal to making sure that New Jerseyans are taxed and completely shredded in his walk to his own in his own political world. It's really time. He's done enough to New Jersey, and it's time we stand up and elect someone that's right for that seat, for our state. And I believe that's going to be me. And I hope to stay close with you as I walk this journey. I'd love to go through my 5-point policy plan about practical issues and practical solutions that all New Jersey will benefit from.
Oh, well, give us, for people that want to learn more about your candidacy, maybe help out, maybe donate, where do they find out more about Tricia Flanagan?
Sure, you can go to my website. It's flanaganforsenate.org. And my cell phone number is right on the website. I always say that this is your seat and your voice, New Jersey, and I'll make sure that Washington, D.C. doesn't feel so far away anymore. I want to hear from you, and I want to share my solutions to make New Jersey better than we've ever been.
Love it. Listen, you were great. Of course, we are endorsing you, Bernie and Sid, which has been the kiss of death, but listen, it's okay. We think you stand for all the right things, and we're here for you, whatever you need for the next couple of years. So good luck, okay, and come back.
Oh, I'm honored. Thank you, and I look forward to it.
All right, thank you. This is Tricia Flanagan.
Get him out.